Hello everyone and welcome to Barca News. It's October 25th, 2022 and Sport are reporting that the operation to try to sign Ruben Neves is quote-unquote very advanced. Also, La Liga Clubs could go on strike as soon as this weekend, and it's reported that Barcelona have lost some ground in the race for the Brazilian sensation Endrick. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and we'll begin with the news that Barcelona are continuing their preparation ahead of tomorrow's clash against Bayern Munich in the Champions League at the Spotify Camp Nou. Now Barcelona have released the name of players who have been called up for tomorrow's match, and those players are Marc Ter Stegen, Héctor Bellerín, Gerard Piqué, Sergio Busquets, Ousmane Dembélé, Pedri, Robert Lewandowski, Ansu Fati, Ferran Torres, Marcos Alonso, Jordi Alba, Frank Kessie, Frankie de Jong, Rafinha, Jules Koundé, Eric Garcia, Iñaki Peña, Alejandro Valde, Gavi, Pablo Torres, and Arnau Tenas. Now, as I reported in yesterday's video, which I will leave the link for down below in the description in case you want to check it out, Barcelona have confirmed that Sergio Roberto has suffered a dislocated shoulder in the Athletic Bilbao match, and as a result, he's gonna be out for 6 weeks, so he has been dropped out of the squad list for tomorrow. However, Xavi has confirmed that Héctor Bellerín is ready, so we could see Bellerín start in tomorrow's match in that right back position. Now, Bayern Munich will arrive in tomorrow's match without 3 of their key players, starting with their goalkeeper Manuel Neuer, who's currently out due to a shoulder injury, Leroy Sané, who's currently out due to a thigh injury, and Lucas Hernandez, who's currently out due to fatigue. Now, Lucas Hernandez is not only the player who scored a goal against Barcelona in Munich, but he's also considered Bayern Munich's best defender, so this is a big loss for the German side, and it's a small boost for Barcelona ahead of tomorrow's clash. Now, in the press conference ahead of tomorrow's match, Xavi Hernandez spoke about Bayern Munich, and he said, "Bayern are an intense, physical, well-coached side, one of the best in the world, and it is an important game for us regardless of what happens in Milan. We want to win this game and show that we can compete at this level. When we lost in Munich, we played well, but we were not clinical and the result was bad. This time, we want the performance and the result." Now, Xavi was asked whether he believes in miracles and about his optimism, and he said, "More than believing in miracles, we maintain a small hope that something can happen. Look, it's complicated. We are in an uncomfortable situation where we no longer depend on ourselves. But you should never lose hope. We will meet at Camp Nou 2 hours before the Bayern game, and we will be following the Inter match. We will all watch it together in a dressing room before we play. I am positive, and you know me, but we don't depend on ourselves. That's the misfortune. When you don't depend on yourself, you're not so positive anymore. The situation is uncomfortable, but we have to go out and win." Now, as I've discussed in previous videos, Inter Milan will face off against Victoria Pilsen in Milan earlier that day, and if Inter Milan win that match, then Barcelona will be automatically eliminated out of the Champions League. However, if Inter Milan tie or lose against Victoria Pilsen, then Barcelona will still have a chance to qualify to the round of 16 as long as they defeat Bayern Munich. Now, in order to explain this a little bit further, Inter Milan currently sit second in the group with 7 points, and Barcelona are currently third in the group with 4 points. So if Barcelona win both matches against Bayern Munich and against Victoria Pilsen, then they will have a total of 10 points. Now, if Inter Milan ties both matches, they would have 9 points. If they tie one match and lose the other, they would have 8 points. And if they lose both remaining matches, then they will remain at 7 points. And in all of these scenarios, Barcelona would qualify in second place with 10 points. Now, if Inter Milan win either of their matches, they would have a total of 10 points, which would make them tied on points with Barcelona, assuming, of course, that Barcelona wins both of their matches against Bayern and Victoria Pilsen. And since Inter Milan defeated Barcelona in Italy, then Inter Milan would qualify to the next round despite them being tied with Barcelona on points. So having to depend on the results of other matches puts Barcelona in a very precarious situation, and it's looking most likely that Barcelona will be eliminated out of the group stage. However, this doesn't mean that Barcelona have nothing to play for tomorrow. We need to go out there and win the match in order to show the world that we can compete against big teams and that we can compete in the Champions League. And even if we end up in the Europa League, we want to go to Europa League, showing the world that we were eliminated out of the Champions League, not because we didn't have the level to compete in it, but it was more because this Champions League was unfortunately cruel to us, where we faced a lot of bad luck from the beginning. Now, our bad luck all began with the draw where Barcelona drew the group of death. And this is a season where Barcelona are undergoing construction, so it wasn't really a good season to be in a group of death. And the bad luck continued more in Munich, where Barcelona were superior to Bayern Munich, but unfortunately the ball did not want to find the back of the net. And we also had bad luck with the refereeing, where Barcelona were robbed against a clear penalty call in that Bayern Munich match. And bad luck continued even further in Italy, when we had really terrible refereeing and we were clearly robbed from a victory and 3 crucial points that could have saw Barcelona qualified to the round of 16. And of course, there was even more bad luck in all the injuries that Barcelona picked up over the international break, which left us without a lot of our key players. Now, despite that, Barcelona should look to win tomorrow, not only to prove that we can compete against big teams, but also in order to soften some of the economic blow that Barcelona will suffer as a result of the elimination from the Champions League. Now, Barcelona so far have received 19 million euros for playing in the group stages of the Champions League, and if they win both matches against Bayern Munich and against Victoria Pilsen, then they will receive an extra 5.6 million euros. Now, had Barcelona qualified to the group stages, they would have received 9.6 million euros, and had they qualified to the quarterfinals, they would have received an extra 10.6 million euros. So that's 20.2 million euros that Barcelona will miss out if they're eliminated out of, in the group stages. Now, Barcelona had assumed that they would qualify to the quarterfinals, and as a result, they had included in their budget that 20.2 million euros that they would have received had they qualified to the quarterfinals. So this will be an economic blow for the team if they are eliminated in the group stages. Now, Barcelona can soften the impact of this economic blow by winning the 2 remaining matches, so they can collect that 5.6 million euros. And that blow will also be softened by the fact that Barcelona are not going to have to pay some bonuses to players, because a lot of these players' bonuses depend on the team reaching certain stages in the Champions League. And of course, if Barcelona do go to the Europa League, they will be able to make money out of that competition as well. However, it's not going to be as much money as they could potentially earn in the Champions League. Now, on to the news that Sport are reporting that the talks to try to sign Ruben Neves are currently quote-unquote very advanced. Now, as I've talked about many times before, Barcelona are currently in the market to try to sign a replacement for Sergio Busquets, whose contract will expire with Barcelona at the end of the season in the summer of 2023. Now, one of the names that has been heavily linked with Barcelona is Wolverhampton's midfielder Ruben Neves, and it's reported that Barcelona are in advanced talks to try to sign the Portuguese midfielder. Now, it's reported that Barcelona are going to try to get Ruben Neves on a 6-month loan this winter transfer market with an obligation to buy, and it's estimated that that obligation to buy could be worth around 15 million euros. Now, it's also reported that Barcelona are not quite yet convinced that Ruben Neves is a slam dunk, so they are keeping tabs of other options. However, Ruben Neves has stated a few days ago that it would be his dream to come to Barcelona. So if the club do decide to sign the Portuguese midfielder, it's not going to be a difficult task to try to convince him to come to Barcelona. Now, on to the news that La Liga's clubs could go on strike as soon as this weekend. Now, as I've reported previously, there was a law due to pass in Spain at the end of this year, and this law had an amendment that gave authority to La Liga and to the Spanish Federation of Football to revoke the licenses of any teams that join the Super League. However, this amendment was removed, and it's reported due to pressure from Barcelona and Real Madrid. And as a result, La Liga's clubs are now threatening to go on strike if an agreement is not reached. Now, La Liga's president Javier Tebas has called for an extraordinary meeting on October 27, and if an agreement is not reached with La Liga's clubs, they are threatening to go on strike as soon as this weekend. Now, the Super League was founded by 12 founding clubs, which are the 6 top clubs from the Premier League: Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Tottenham, and the 3 top teams from the Serie A, which are AC Milan, Inter Milan, and Juventus, and the 3 top teams from La Liga, which are Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico de Madrid. Now, this was a proposed seasonal league composed of 20 teams, including the 12 founding clubs plus 8 clubs that would get to qualify every year. However, this league received opposition immediately from UEFA and from FIFA, and under threats from UEFA of dropping teams from the Champions League, most of the founding clubs withdrew from the Super League for the exception of Barcelona, Real Madrid and Juventus, who still support the formation of the Super League. Now, the Super League is currently involved in litigation in European courts to try to see whether UEFA has a monopoly over football in Europe. And if the courts say that UEFA doesn't have a monopoly over football, then the Super League hopes to launch in 3 years. Now, on to the news that the Premier League, Tottenham Hotspur are interested in purchasing Clement Lenglet. Now, Barcelona attempted to offload Clement Lenglet over this past summer, and as a result, they sent him to the Tottenham on a 1-year loan. And it's reported that Lenglet has been having a good spell in the Premier League, and as a result, the Tottenham Hotspur have reached out to Barcelona in hopes to try to reach an agreement to buy the player. And this is great news for Barcelona, who have been trying to offload Clement Lenglet for quite some time. Now, in other news, it's reported that Barcelona have lost some ground in the race for the Brazilian sensation Endrick. Now, as I reported about in many of my previous videos, Endrick is a 16-year-old striker who currently plays in the Brazilian club Palmeiras, and he is one of the most coveted players in the world, as he is considered a future star of the footballing world. Now, Barcelona had reportedly met with Endrick and his family to try to convince him to come to Barcelona. However, it's now being reported that PSG are currently sitting in pole position to sign the young Brazilian player after offering Palmeiras 35 million euros. Now, it's reported that Palmeiras are looking to close the transfer of Endrick as soon as this winter transfer market, despite the player not being able to make a move to Europe until he turns 18 in 2024. And it seems that PSG have offered the biggest sum out of all the European clubs interested in the Brazilian player, so it looks like the Parisian side could end up signing the young Brazilian sensation. Now, we will end today's video with 2 brief updates. The first one is that Las Palmas president has said that he would like to see Alberto Moleiro in Barcelona. Now, Alberto Moleiro is a 19-year-old midfielder, and he's considered a prodigy in the Spanish football, and Barcelona attempted to sign the youngster over the summer. However, they couldn't reach a deal over the price, and there was also not enough space on the wage bill to try to sign Moleiro. And now Las Palmas president has said that he would like to see Alberto Moleiro in Barcelona. And the young player has also stated previously that it is his dream to join Barcelona. So if the club do decide to sign this young sensation who's being compared to Pedri, it's not going to be a difficult task to do so, given that both the player and his current club are in favor of him moving to Barcelona. Now, the second update is that the former Barcelona coach Quique Setién has now replaced Unai Emery as Villarreal's new coach. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I'd like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. And as always, Peace, Barça.